What's going on, my creative collective? Welcome to your daily creative reading for October 19th. We are going to hop right on in. Let us see where the cards take us today. All right, Spirit, what message do you have for my daily creatives, please? October 19th. Let's do this. Across the waters, you could be waiting for something. It's just a little like pause, but not in a way that's negative or anything like that. It's just like anticipatory more than anything. Legacy of light. Within nothing, there is everything. There could be paradoxes that are starting to show up a little bit. I'm getting this like philosophical paradox, like a paradoxy. I don't even know if that's a thing. But it's like there's something it's like within nothing, there's everything. And it may be a paradoxical answer or solution to something that you've been kind of, I don't want to, it's like temporarily confounded by, like across the waters in terms of like this, like looking out. It almost strikes me as a Two of Wands. Could be something to do with distance, but then there's also legacy of light, where this is a place of you saying, you know, I like, it's like there's a connection to the bigger part of you, like your higher self you're connecting to in a more profound way. Let's see where this goes here. Look at that on the split, the Empress and the Wheel of Fortune. I'm hearing the word, you're doing better than you know. You're doing better than you know. Five of Wands and the Sun. That's the call to adventure. So interesting. That's so cool. I feel like this is like all the ways to happiness. Like you've trained for this. Like you've waited for this. So it's like let your happiness in. Let your happiness in. Five of Wands can be a fighting card, conflict, yes, but it also indicates training for something, right? Temperance and justice. Wow. A lot of majors coming out on these splits. And just temperance and justice is, it's almost like this sense of balance that's being restored. Balance restored. I'm writing that down because that's quite good. For a title, we'll see what the rest of the spread says, but balance restored. What is the refusal here, Spirit? Three of Swords. Fear, a little bit of fear of heartbreak and betrayal. Yeah, Two of Wands, there it is. I felt this. It's like, it's not like you're planning or waiting. Like it's not waiting, it's anticipatory, but what are you anticipating? Are you anticipating heartbreak, or are you anticipating like liberation? Right? Like what's the thing? What's the thing? And I think that's where it's like you've trained for happiness, but it's like you're learning to allow your happiness to come as opposed to feeling like you have to work towards it. Seven of Wands, Ace of Wands. Yeah. Like it's like inspiration arrives as opposed to feeling like you've got to earn it. And that's a big difference, right? Yeah, High Priestess. Thing that could become a tower if it goes unchecked. High Priestess. It's this like intuitive, it's almost like not listening to your intuition, I think, right now. Because that's what'll get you, like you'll look more for the rain. You'll look more for the pain and the heartbreak than you will for the ways that you can be liberated where you are. And that's where it's like you need to stay connected to your intuition right now, because there's messages you're getting about your happiness and allowing, and it's all flow and ease, right? It needs to be. Justice is your protagonist position. So I feel like you do have bigger forces at work on your side here in terms of any conflict you experience. Page of Pentacles is the antagonist position, which is kind of dreaming too small. If you think too small because you believe that you are small, then what's going to, I think that's what's being healed right now, big time. Yeah, Queen of Wands. It's like allowing you to dream something bigger, or to dream, bigger seeds being planted. Bigger seeds being planted. And it almost is like when you get into that state of joy, regardless, love, regardless, like joy, regardless of whether it's connected to a specific person. Okay. Love, regardless of whether it's connected to a specific person. Because you can be, you can have feelings. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's when you attach it to your detriment that it's like, then it starts to work against you, right? It starts to work against you because then you don't really see the bigger picture of it. You don't see the bigger picture of it. But I think that, again, dreaming too small is to your detriment right now, because there's a lot at play here in the background that is helping you. Ace of Cups. So the challenge here is coming across as the Two of Pentacles. Now the challenge, I think it's coming back into balance, yes, but it's almost like comparing, like a kind of like comparison, like, well, this is how it's been before, and that, like, right, heartbreak, this is, but then how can I trust this? And I feel like this is the healing of the trust piece, and trust not just in terms of like love and romance and whatnot. This could also be disappointments at work. This could just be ways that you've put yourself out into the world and that people have before where it's really burned you, right? Like you're just like, ugh, like it's not been helpful, but it's like shifting your perspective on helpful. And that's where it's like, it's like correcting your perception, right? A Course in Miracles, correcting your perception. And that's where this Page of Pentacles comes in, where it's like you're seeing that you don't need to play small anymore. You don't need to play small. And that's the big picture. What you're waking up to is kind of like, I think, a little bit of the spark of your own power, right? The spark of your own power and your own brilliance and your own light. Because when you stop looking into the past and comparing things, right? It's like this infinity loop of just spinning your wheels. That's what it feels like to me, is like spinning your wheels. And the Ace of Cups is telling me a lot about how the overcoming it comes from opening up it's opening up your heart space. It's opening up to joy. It's opening up to your light. And that's where this spark can kind of get through, right? I'm thinking of the Leonard Cohen poem where it's like the crack is where the light gets through. And that's really, I think it's based on a Rumi quote as well. A Hierophant is the main lesson here, right? It's the Hierophant is coming across as almost this, the beliefs that you've built your life upon, right? The foundation upon which you've built the beliefs upon which you've built your life. These are no small things. These are the things that we turn to when we have tests of faith, when we have faith, when we have crises of faith, when we have these moments where we don't believe in ourselves or our vision or our happiness or whatever it is. What do we turn to and what do we anchor into? And this is almost like, I'm getting this as like what you're awakening to is like the small steps along the way to actualization, the small steps along the way to actualizing something bigger. This could be looking at mistakes that you've made. And it's like, you really have to decide whether you're going to continue to skewer your own heart. You have to decide whether you're going to do that. Right? And that could be a way that you've just kept busy and kept happiness outside of yourself. Like you've just stayed busy. So like, it's like, nope, it's fine. Like the sun is shining down on you, but you don't ever connect with it at a deeper level in terms of a principle or a way that you move forward or integrate your knowledge and wisdom. This is such a straightforward reading. It's like under 10 minutes and it's just like bam, bam, bam. This may not be a long reading, but which one do you want, Spirit? Okay. And the Chariot is clarifying these two here. This is almost coming across as letting your heart not want and not be in a place of suspended want, but moving towards in a really lovely way. Yeah, it's like putting an end to, I think it's almost like, this strikes me as the eclipses as well, but it's like, this is putting an end to almost like cycles of suspended in motion. That's almost what the Chariot comes across as, and the Empress is here too. Wow, and Strength and the Magician, dang. But and Death, yeah, this is like being suspended in motion, right? Like there's this harvest that's available to you. and you're deciding, like, this is almost like there's no choice card here specifically, right? But it's like you're giving up the power struggle. Both have the infinity symbol over the head. Like, you're giving up the power struggle and you're stepping into an element of your power, or elements, given that this is the integration of all the queens. But it's like you're stepping into elements of your power, and that gives you access, the transformative access to your joy and to your happiness and to the opening of your heart center, right? Giving up the power struggle just in terms of allowing yourself to be guided by something more, right? The Ace of Cups is like it's like a guiding light, but it's an internally focused lamp, right? It's an internal lamp. The sun is a light, but it's an external one that is so much more connected to a depth within us too. So it's almost like the light bounces off the water. I'm thinking about times I would go kayaking in the summer, and the way the light would like leave these diamonds on the water and shimmer, and it was just so beautiful. Like it's breathtaking, breath-giving even. But that's where it's like this integration of light, legacy of light too. Like it's like this integration of light where you're seeing the diamonds in the water of the cup that you have inside of you, as opposed to seeing diamonds from pressure. I think that 11:11 on the time, I think that was in like a reading from a while ago, where you're seeing this beautiful, it's like you see yourself as a source, and you see a source differently as opposed to being outside of you. It's like you're seeing that which is within you. So we have the Three of Swords and the High Priestess. What else do we have here? The King of Pentacles and the Lovers. I think that the more that you disconnect from your intuition, the less able you are to choose, or the less you will feel capable of choosing something that puts you at ease. The King of Pentacles is an energy of comfort. It's an energy of, I almost want to say like elasticity, and because of the plenty that surrounds the King of Pentacles. I almost get, this is so interesting. Thank you, Spirit. This is like the High Priestess is coming across as like a nurse offering help to take out these wounds, like to take out the wounds. So your intuition is like, because if you puncture something, you have to go to the hospital, and they say don't take it out. It's part of first aid training too, right? Like don't take something out because it will cause more damage in the long run. So it's like your intuition is almost nursing your heart back to health in a way, or there's something about that where it's like it's coming back online. And even if not online, if it already is there, it's like it's allowing you to choose something that's much more fruitful, that's much more abundant, that just, it's like a pillar of security and stability for yourself, as opposed to, oops, let me just make sure, there we go. It's like you're choosing stability for yourself that comes from a source greater than you. So we have the Two of Wands and the Justice card. The Tower and the Justice card. It's like all that waiting. I think something is either going to come in quite suddenly, or it's like this feeling of things being right will take you by surprise, where you're going to cease to look out for something. Like it's like you're no longer looking outside of yourself. You're like, nope, this is the inside job, because justice is clarifying justice. So it's like something is correcting itself, be it, I don't know that it's your perception so much as like the epiphany. Like it's like the moment that you stop expecting something, it shows up. Not always in the package that you would expect or the way that you would expect, but it shows up, right? It shows up for sure. Page of Pentacles. Six of Swords. Yeah, moving away from thinking too small, not thinking big enough for yourself, right? You're going to feel like a little bit of a beginner, but you're the author of your story. And what counts is you can make all the mistakes. There's the Two of Wands again. You can make tons of mistakes. We all do. We all do. People sometimes have the luxury of hiding them so they don't shine, for everybody to see. So that they don't show up in ways that they can't escape. People, that's a luxury that some people have. And I think that the important part to remember right now is that, and this is where the King of Pentacles is coming across here. It's like a realignment of what luxury means, right? And not in terms of like a lifestyle. That's, it's, that's the stuff, that's stuffness, right? And I feel like that's where it's really starting to come into play, this legacy of light. And I think this is about connecting to spirit and the thing that's bigger than you, right? The Hierophant, what it is that you put your faith in, right? What it is that you put your faith in. Mm-hmm. It's important to be mindful too. This just came across as the Seven of Swords in terms of the Six of Swords and the Page of Swords, where the seven is like seeing the ways that your story and your storytelling has taken from you, and the ways that you've told stories that reinforced ideas of what abundance is, about what luxury is about, and just luxury as instability. I've come from a background that stability and safety are luxuries, right? Like, they're not luxuries because they're inaccessible. That to me is abundance, right? That to me is abundance. When people say what they mean and mean what they say, that's abundance. When people express themselves clearly, that's abundance. When people give you ways to feel safe and secure in your world and you cultivate that within you first, that's abundance, right? So, but that's where I'm getting, it's like you're realigning what these things mean in terms of stability. You're realigning your path a little bit, and I don't want to say like your path completely, but it's like you're acclimating to something, to the bigger picture. You're acclimating to the bigger picture, and it's helping you to be a little bit more free, a little bit more lighthearted, I think. I want to clarify more, but honestly, like, it's very clear what's happening here to me is like you're getting out of your own way a little bit, ending power struggles, and I feel that it's like something takes you by surprise. Now, with the page, it can also be an offer, right? These could be offers, right? There could be an offer in terms of generated around Earth energy or Earth sign. I hesitate to assign signs to things necessarily, but it can happen. But this page, it could be offers where it's like it could be job offers, it could be friendship, and offers just are also things that catch your attention, right? Things that catch your attention, that draw you deeper into healing, that draw you deeper into a state of peace and ease and grace and compassion with yourself, right? That's what all of these things do. I would just keep an eye out for the surprise, right? Like, there's a surprise here, and I don't think it's a bad one. Justice is showing up twice, 2 times. So, and ultimately, it's what we do with things, right, that matters. It's what we do with them. Most of us are here today, gone tomorrow, and we don't even realize it. We really don't. Having nearly died a couple times in my life so far, I can say that it's like, we don't know when our time is coming. We don't know when it will arrive, when we will disappear. We do not know these things. And not to be all macabre or, whatever. It's the nature of the death card. It's the nature of that energy to me. It's like the rebirth in these cycles, right? And I think that there's something that's ending, that it's like it's shifting these foundations for not just manifesting, but also abundance. And abundance doesn't just have to do with finances, right? It's like, what are the things and the ways that you feel that make you feel abundant, right? What are those things? And then, like, connecting to them along the way so that it sort of liberates you from having to be bound by this protectionary stance. But again, your high priestess, it's like your inner, I want to say light, like your intuition and your connection to spirit are sort of nursing you back to health, and easing wounds. It's easing things for you. And I think that's really important. So, a big message is that things are going to get easier. Things have to, right? After, tough times, they naturally do. So, let's pull from I love pulling from this deck. It's 2 decks in one, the Super Tractor and the Universe Has Got Your Back. I just put them both together because I wanted to do that. So, Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives, please? Just to close this reading out. Whoa. The moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. When I connect to the spiritual realm, I open the door to receive divine guidance, clear direction, and great wisdom. That's definitely the message. That's like, this is like the high priestess talking. This is your intuition talking through this card, right? Like the nursing you back to health. When I connect to the spiritual realm, I open the door to receive divine guidance, clear direction, and great wisdom. Yeah. And the moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. And I think surrendering the outcome is like, surrendering the outcome isn't about letting go of what you want, because you can want what you want, all that you want, right? Not to be ridiculous about it, but so you can be in that place and you can want. But when it comes down to it, there's a part of you have to start to ask yourself, what's the bigger picture? Like once you get like, for example, I was looking for a journal. Okay. This is just a very small example. I was looking for a journal because I needed a new one just to make notes in and things like that. And then this one popped up. It was like, I don't know, it was less than $10. So I was like, amazing, this is great. But it's like, that's not the full picture, right? The manifestation of that like bargain journal is not the big picture. What the picture is, the big picture really is about, it's like allowing spirit to speak through your heart about what your happiness truly is. That's this illumination process. So, and now we'll pull from the Miracles Now deck. I'm getting here too with this Justice card. What just came to mind is that you could be experiencing some legal things, and the Tower is like things turning out. I am almost getting it. It's like turning out better than you expected in a way that satisfies your feeling of justice. Like you feel like justice is like correct. I don't need to find my purpose. My purpose will find me. I think that that's true of happiness too. It's just something that I've been kind of toying with and writing about and stuff. And I think that it's like your purpose is going to find you, but your purpose is so tied to your happiness, and your purpose isn't about, and that actually reminds me, I can't remember if I signed up for it or not, but Robert Holden, he's writing a book about, or has written a book about happiness and purpose. Well, purpose more so, but I'm super excited to read it. But that just popped into mind, so I wanted to mention it. But do check that out for sure. I know I will be. But this is where, like, when we believe that our happiness is like when our happiness is contingent on the acquisition of something, be it a phase in our life, the entry into it, or something along those lines. When this is the case, what often happens is we place our joy outside of ourselves. We place our happiness outside of ourselves. And it's like, then we never really, even we can have this stuff come to us, but we never really get what it's meant to be. We never really achieve those things, right? Again, I think about the journal. Like once I got that, I wasn't necessarily seeking it. But if, let's say I placed my whole days working out, like that whole sense of the day, the justice of the day, right? The day is correct because I found a journal. If I had done that, I would not necessarily have found it because I wasn't looking for it. That's the funny part, is I was not looking for a journal. I was like, I knew I needed one, and I was like, oh, there's a sale rack and I see journals, right? Like that's the way that these things can sometimes work. So it's almost like your purpose will find you, not because you're sitting by and being idle or unmotivated or lazy or procrastinating or whatever else people will try to say. Sometimes that's how inspiration arrives. Sometimes that's how inspiration meets you. Because if your mind is super busy all the time, it doesn't have room for new. It doesn't have room for that. So it's hard for any kind of happiness or purpose or healing to meet you on the path. And that's where I feel like you really have to allow your intuition to not just guide you, but also to meet the parts of you that are hurting and nurse them back to health with the wisdom that you gain along the way. Because at the end, I've said this before, but when I nearly died, they gave me morphine at the hospital, and I am not able to take it. Like, I can't. This was like years ago. It was in my late 20s, mid 20s. And I remember, going down and losing consciousness. And they said that my heart had gone into cardiac shock and it just kind of stopped. And when I woke up, I remember my eyes were closed. I've told this story before on the channel, but when my eyes were closed, I remember seeing the fluorescent lights above me and thinking to myself that, do the people in my life know that I love them? Do the people in my life know that I appreciate them? Do the people in my life know this? And based on that, that struck me as like, I saw the yardstick by which my life will be measured at a very young age. And it was a gift, right? But that's where it's like your purpose, it may not be the purpose that you think that you've built it up to be. Your purpose may be just to bring joy. And that's okay. That's ultimately okay. And there's something really big in that too. Don't discount the little things that we've called them little, right? To just decide to be a light for other people, is no small purpose either. It's when it becomes something that keeps you outside of yourself, and that keeps you outside of your joy, that keeps you outside of all of these things, that it becomes a block instead. So I will leave that here. But so if this resonated, give this a like and subscribe. I'd love to have you on the channel if you're not here already. But if you are joining me from my subscriber base, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. So yeah, as always, wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, I hope it finds you very, very well, my friends. Take care.